Hello, friends. Another day, another realization. And today's realization was just the simple fact that as we expand, as we move forward on our journey, all of the tools, practices, perspectives we have been learning, or I could also say remembering, expand. And this brings us more clarity. We have greater understanding of how it is actually working. And when we have this, we have more confidence in it, more trust, more faith. And I want to give you this encouragement because when you're starting to learn from others about manifestation and all of these different things, it can sound so easy and so simple, but put into practice, it's a whole different story. And that is because of all these beliefs and programming we have. And so this becomes this task of taking it off. And something I felt called to share today was just the progression of beliefs to feelings. So we can think of beliefs living in our subconscious mind. I put the beliefs up here because our heart is pure. Our heart is completely whole, completely untouched by beliefs. So we have these beliefs, these programs, and thoughts come from here. And then when we think a thought, that signals an emotion. And then we feel in our body the emotion as a feeling, and then we take action in response to that. So this is that progression. Yet, what also came up is thoughts. Yes, they a lot of time come from beliefs and programming. And we can also tune into other thoughts at our frequency range. We can pick up on random thoughts. Today I was driving and the word peppercorn came into my head. And it was so funny to me. And I thought, wow, I just picked up on some random thought form of peppercorn. Because I was not thinking of peppercorn at all. And it didn't feel like a guidance or a message from my higher self or light team. And so that's the other thing. We can experience messages from our higher self, our team, as thoughts as well. So it's becoming discerning of our thoughts. And this is where the feeling comes in, is that when we feel good, we know that thought is coming from love. And so we know we can trust it. And when it's coming from love, it's in alignment. And if it doesn't feel good, we know that it's coming from fear, and so it must be coming from these beliefs or programming. So we know that we can alleviate that and take care of it. And once we have the awareness of the belief or pattern, then it's just becomes a process of letting it go. And what I noticed today was that, so in my book series, and I call it my books, but it's really a co-creation with so many beings and collectives that have come forth to create this project. Not just for me, for humanity, for you if you are feeling called. These books are an initiation. And they truly have given me like every tool, perspective, everything I need to come into complete and full alignment with my true self. And I realized this today because I realized that even every single video that I've made on YouTube since publishing the last book it was all thanks to what was in these books that I was able to come to these new realizations. So it's like building a solid foundation and giving you all of the tools, perspectives to see the multidimensional reality, to move through it in a way that you can notice when you're in alignment and when something is out of alignment. Not with judgment, not with resentment, but with joy to locate something within you that was out of alignment, because once you do that, you are able to shift that, and you are able to bring in a higher self perspective in its place and then release it. And this releasing process, it does take some time. Of course, we all wish it would just instantly be gone once we have the awareness. Yet it is a process of reinforcing these new, well, I would say new, but they're really the true self. So they're, I don't want to call them old, but original or inherent, or the divine design. And I noticed yesterday in the video, I used the word reprogram, and I trust that you were able to know what that meant. Is it is really remembering who we truly are. Because when I talk about beliefs and programming, I'm talking about all the fear and limiting beliefs and programming, conditioning, all of the distortion that we take on in this life. And when we come back to our true self perspective, our higher self perspective, we no longer have beliefs, we have knowings. And knowing is so much more powerful than belief. Just think of the word belief or knowing. I believe I can do it. I know I can do it. Knowing is so much more powerful. And sometimes we start with believing, but once we receive from our higher self enough, once we have enough evidence, enough confidence for us, that will transfer to a knowing. All of our truths will transfer to knowings. And so that's why I don't usually distinguish between fear-based beliefs or other beliefs, because I just think of it as beliefs and knowings. And then instead of thinking of reprogramming, it's remembering. It's the more that we live in alignment, the more that we remember, the more the whole reality makes sense. That's what this realization today was all about. That the more we come back to operating as our true self in this world, the more all of this information channeled from beings across many dimensions and many realms, and including my personal insights in the books as well, and of course other personal insights from other awakened humans that you may find on YouTube, and humans that are not awakened, they also contain so much wisdom, so much information, and so we can literally be learning from everyone. And so it's keeping this open mind and kind of a relaxed demeanor, and remembering these truths, some of which I've shared on YouTube, and of course my books are filled with them. But one of them is, of course, all is source and all is helping me. And so anytime we kind of we feel tension or something, we can come back to that. And there are all sorts of these ones, and the more that we bring these into our system, the more we will be reminded of them, and the more that we'll come back to this natural way of being in the world. And the one that was coming up for me today was remembering that everyone appreciates me, approves of me, accepts me, supports me, and unconditionally loves me. And you can say, how can that be? Well, the true self of everyone is Source, and Source accepts me, approves of me, appreciates me, unconditionally loves me, and supports me. And so the true self of every single human, that is how they think of you. That is how they think of me. That is how they think of literally every single other being. No exceptions. And so this is what I'm saying about seeing the multidimensional reality. When we understand how the true self, how the higher self of others view us, we can focus on that. And then any little tensions or anything like that, there's so much in humanity about all of these different things and seeking outside of ourselves and pandering to others to get this, and the list goes on, and I go really deep in the books about so many of these things that I had to work through for myself. Yet the crux of it is that when we go through the world and when we see a human, instead of shrinking or getting tense or getting constricted, we can remember they unconditionally love me, they appreciate me, they approve of me, they accept me, and they support me. And wow, how your demeanor changes, how it changes. When we do that, we come right back to our center. We come right back to alignment. We come right back to feeling good, which is allowing all that we desire into our reality. And feeling good also puts us on a higher vibrational timeline. And it's so interesting. I was thinking about this today, about how all humans are mirrors. And of course, when we start off on this journey, we are getting triggered a lot, and the humans are really helping us to show us what we have within us that is ready to let go of. And so we can be thankful for that. Although can be very difficult, yet it is all to help us get through it. And once we get through it, trust me, you will be so thankful and so appreciative. It'll blow your mind. And but now what I've noticed is that more and more on my path, like everyone is so encouraging, loving, and so you're going to end up being more and more thankful for these mirrors, because they're just mirroring back what you're putting out there, how you're seeing the reality, your knowings. And so it is an amazing thing to witness. And I experience it more and more, where humans will be kind and respectful to me, and they can turn around and be just completely the opposite with someone else. But when they're interacting with me, it's all good. And so it's just been amazing. And so this also shows us our healing, and it's evidence of our healing. And it's a beautiful thing. And there are people planted along our path from day one that are encouraging us and helping us to have more joy. Yet there are also the ones that we attract to show us how we can find more joy by letting go of these things that really are not us, these beliefs and programs. And so this has been just so exciting for me to witness today, for me to see how these tools, like I said, I feel like this book series has everything in it that has got me to this place, and it has everything in it that it's just going to continue to expand and make your life easier and better, and wow, like for me it's phenomenal. And it's been just another breakthrough after breakthrough, realization after realization, and we're just going deeper and deeper and deeper, and we're each doing this individually, but we're also all helping each other. And sometimes that is through words, through videos like this, but just doing this self-work is helping everyone. You're adding this information to the collective consciousness, and by going through it and raising in vibration, you are a part of the whole, so you raise the vibration of the whole. And so every little bit helps. Every even seemingly insignificant thing, a thought that you shift, is assisting the whole planet, all the humans. So, wow, we can really find joy in this fact. We can find fulfillment, contentment. And we also, of course, will trust what we're receiving from within on how is best for us to serve the whole, however that looks like for us, and it will change as you go through your seasons, as I go through my seasons. It changes. I was putting together these books for, like, the whole project was, I guess, 2.7 years long from when I started channeling to when I published the last book. And I did some YouTubes in between there, but now I've been called to do these videos every day. And so this is a lot different for me. It was definitely stepping outside of my comfort zone and really trusting in this process, and yeah, I just trust in my guidance so much. I do whatever I am guided to, no matter how my ego may feel about it. Because again, every of what we consider a bad feeling is just fear coming from a fearful belief. And I know in the last video I also mentioned that everything is love, yet if love were to have an opposite, it would be fear. And so that's why I always am speaking in these terms, because it's just simpler to see the reality as that when we're not feeling good, this is fear and this is out of alignment. And when we do feel good, we are in a frequency of love, and that is in alignment. So it's just to simplify things. So fear is just anything that feels bad, feels constricting, feels tense, feels limiting. And love is everything that feels good, feels free, feels expansive, feels joyful, happy, exciting, peaceful, relaxed, at ease. And another thing that came up to share today was this thing about how Some may say, oh, but some fear is a good thing because then you won't get yourself in some sticky situations. But I hold a different perspective. And what everyone believes is the truth for them. So, of course, we're all different. We're all on different journeys. But what I know to be true is that you can move through the world without fear. But it's listening to your intuition, listening to your inner voice. You know, it's like standing near the edge of a cliff, and you can stand there and say, oh, it's fear that makes me not want to jump. Or you can say, oh, my intuition just let me know not to not to go too close to the edge. And so you can see there's a difference there. It's like there's two paths in the forest, and one person could be fearful, and one could be tuned into their intuition and know exactly which one to take. And the more we listen to our intuition, the more we trust our inner guidance, the more confidence we have in it, the more we see the magic, the miracles, the synchronicities, everything unfolding for us. And this was another thing that came up to share today, was that the more we move forward on our path, the more we embody our true self, the more in alignment we are, which is embodying our true self, which is ascension, which is healing, the more signs and synchronicities we observe and we experience. And in the last video, I mentioned that there's always been signs, synchronicities, and guidance. And this is true. But the difference when we're on an ascension path is we notice it increases, the frequency increases. Life literally becomes a living, like a walking synchronicity. Like, it is so profound. Like yesterday, I shared a video. And then after that, I went into my email. There was an email from one of my mentors, which basically said the same thing. And I was just like, whoa. And it was, to me, a divine confirmation of what I shared in that video. And so it's things like this. And we notice more and more miracles, from small to large. And we experience more miracles. That's what I'm getting at today. We can also notice the miracles we experienced in the past, whereas in the past we may have chalked it up to coincidence or luck. Yet now we can look back and be like, whoa, that was a complete miracle. That was a co-creation with the field, and that is what drew that energy to me and these other people I was working with, and that's how it worked out so amazing. It's just, it keeps expanding. The more we move forward on this journey, the more understanding we have, the more clarity. And I know I've been talking about the books a lot today, but it's for good reason, because they're a completely life-changing resource I feel, for all on an awakened path. Yet I trust that the ones who it'll benefit the most will be attracted to it the most. And I just want to share a little Easter egg today. A little something that I found. And if you've read the books, you will know what this means. And also, if you are going to read the books, now you see the evidence. Now you see it. And what is this, you may ask? It is the box of a pink pineapple. I found the elusive pink pineapple that I was so curious about, that I so wanted to try. And there's more about this in the books, so I'll leave it there. And yeah, put that there so you can see it. So with that, I will send you much love and joy on your path, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.